Today in the crypto space, we're seeing the market taking a bit of a dip. Bitcoin down approximately 3.5%. Ethereum down approximately 5%, hitting that $3,500 mark. The rest of the crypto space are pretty much following the heavyweights lead to the downside, deep in the red for many of them. In today's video, I want to talk about the general market. I want to use Bitcoin as a leading indicator, but more importantly, I want to talk about one project that is looking pretty good, looking for that higher low, and an upgrade is due for tomorrow, and that project is called ALEPHIUM. So you know what, let's talk about the news, let's analyze the charts, and let's strategize to capitalize. Welcome to the channel. My name is Mike, and let's get right into it, guys. If you're new to the channel, welcome. On the channel, we talk about cryptocurrency, Bitcoin, Ethereum, and all the altcoins, looking for opportunities. Whether we go up or down, bearish or bullish, it doesn't matter. All we want to do is stay one step ahead of the market so that we can capitalize on any of the volatility. And if you appreciate the strategy, subscribe to the channel, click the bell so you don't miss out on any of my future videos, including the live streams at 7:30 Eastern, where we talk about crypto news and price action. Guys, if you have any projects you want me to cover here on the channel, feel free to let me know in the comment section below. You can hit me up on the chats or on the socials. The links are in the description. Better yet, guys, join the Discord. The Discord is where it's at. Lots of good alpha, trade setups, fundamentals, and learning material. All right, guys, let's begin. Let's see what's going on here with this market. Today, Bitcoin took a bit of a dip. The overall market cap is down to about $2.5 trillion, down approximately 4%. The volume is slowly increasing despite the price action coming down or the market cap coming down. There's not much volume, guys, into this move. However, it is a move to the downside. Now, this is what we have to understand. If we got a good amount of volume into this move, you know, would give us a bit more conviction that there's more to come. However, given the fact that there's not that much volume, that means market participation is not completely in, and that means that maybe this is a short-term dip, and it's very, very possible here. But in the meantime, we have to pay attention to structure, because currently Bitcoin, you know, has been in a very good bullish structure. However, we are seeing a bit of a test of the structure currently, and we'll talk about Bitcoin, of course. We'll take a look at ALEPHIUM in a second, but these scenarios that we are in right now are opportunities, guys. These are opportunities to be scaling in. Double-digit dips are meant to be bought. So Bitcoin coming down, we can see Ethereum coming down as well. We do see BNB also coming down, and generally speaking, the entire market is taking a bit of a dip. We have some projects that are holding up pretty steadily, of course, but for the most part, we're all in a retracement currently, making that lower low. And last night in the live stream, it's quite evident that a lot of projects currently are looking for that breakdown out of the bear flag in the short term on the 4-hour, while still maintaining a very bullish stance on the daily, for example. So this is what we have to pay attention to, is that currently the market is being played by time frame, and the time frame, shorter time frames are looking a little bearish, but larger time frames are still looking bullish. So how do we play this market? Well, all you really have to do is be cognizant of the fact is that in the short term we could come down for those opportunities, but then get a quick retracement or a quick recovery to the upside, and eventually make that higher high, and so on and so forth. So as we can see, are we going to take advantage? There's dips across the market, lots of good opportunities. We have Render still grinding to the downside. It is down 20%. I know a lot of you were interested in Render. Now's the time to start looking for opportunities, looking for those horizontal levels of support where you can buy the dips with a bit of confidence. IMX coming down 20%. Look at that. We have a lot. Dog with Hat down 26.6%. in the last 7 days, guys. Double-digit dips are meant to be bought. Floki as well, the graph, and the list goes on. We got Arweave coming down 28% in 7 days. These are great opportunities to be scaling into positions. Okay, guys, so generally speaking, guys, this is the time. Now, the question is on a lot of our minds is, do we come down further? Do we look at Altcoin coming down 36% in 7 days, guys? Whatever goes up really hard leaves tons of volume gaps below, and therefore, upon a retracement, we have weakness. We can see that price action fall right through, and that's where I go in and I take advantage of those opportunities, because then that means a recovery is due eventually, right? We want to find those bottoms and DCA at the bottoms, But generally speaking, guys, we can let the market fall. If the market is going to dip, let it dip and we'll accumulate at horizontal support. So generally speaking, the market right now is in a retracement to the downside. It is definitely falling. Don't try to catch that falling knife. Let's find horizontal supports. All right, guys, I know you're here to talk about charts, so let's begin. Let's see what's going on here with Bitcoin, and then we'll take a look at ALEPHIUM, because ALEPHIUM at the end of the day is still in a very good bullish stance. We do have some good bullishness coming out tomorrow, and of course, Bitcoin could bring some good volatility to the upside for the altcoin market in general. Let's look at this in a little bit more detail. So what we can see right now is, let's get rid of the oscillators for a second and zoom in, is that, you know, we are still within a structure. Yes, I do see that the wick came below today, but we quickly got bought up, and now we're still at that level. Now, the big question is how do we close this daily candle? If we close the daily candle above this thick white line, as we have done in the past, once, twice, and even 3 times, we will do a great job. It will be a great indication that we're looking for a bounce here. And I know the bulls right now have a thesis, and I know the bears have a thesis, but in my opinion, obviously not financial advice, but when I look at this chart, the bullish thesis is still very strong, even though we did wick down here, because we wicked down here before many times. And as long as we continue within this structure, we are still okay for a cup and handle. And we're still okay with considering this a bull flag, impulsive move, sideways price action, a continuation, right? So this is a continuation pattern. Now, we have to close this daily candle, guys. We're going to close the daily candle tonight, of course, while we're on the live stream. So feel free to join. We can see exactly what happens. We're going to see the Asia market wake up and do its thing. Hopefully they buy it up and we see the Bitcoin price go sideways within this range. In fact, I mentioned yesterday that I would be very, very happy to see the Bitcoin price go sideways all summer long, before September, October, when the market should run. But in the meantime, do we even come down even further, maybe go sideways within this bigger structure, which means that we could come down to about $60,800 or $60,500, which at the end of the day, guys, is still in a very bullish structure, right? We see a huge impulsive move, sideways price action, continuation up. We're just trying to prepare ourselves emotionally and obviously economically to prepare for this potential dip. Now, one thing that I want to be very clear about, and what I'm going to do here is highlight the importance of this bottom, which is very, very important, as you can see. And we have a shoulder right here, which is also very important. We also identified a little head and shoulders right into here that got a nice run. Now we also have to highlight the importance of this right here. Let me just kind of, because that was a bit sloppy here, let me get rid of this because that's sloppy, and then we'll do another one. You can see that ultimately what we want is this to be the head. Okay, I'll do my best here. And this to end up becoming a nice right shoulder as well. The same as we have done right here. And that would be super, super bullish. Obviously, why? Because inverse head and shoulders, once they break the neckline, which is nice and clear right around this area, we start to look for breakouts, right? We look for breakouts. Now, if you do a measurement from more or less around this level to about this level, the time that it took to produce this shoulder, this left shoulder, is more or less 20 to 30 days, give or take, depending on what you look at, right? So there is some time here, right? There is some time that it's going to take if we do come down to this level to produce that right shoulder. Now, we could get a bounce right into about 65K. It's very possible. We got tops, lots of bottoms and stuff like that. A little bit of a volume gap, nothing crazy, but still possible, right? But the only way I'm going to be buying in here or looking for entries across the market is if we get a hesitation, we get some sort of structure, we hold the structure, put a stop loss underneath the structure and go long. And if we do not get that, I am not buying until we come and test this horizontal, which means that that's the next bearish target. So what we have to do in the meantime, prepare our bags, prepare with dry powder, have some stable coin on the side, prepare for this opportunity if it does happen. Now, if it doesn't happen, the worst case scenario is that you have a fat bag of stables. And ultimately what you're looking forward to is, if it's from a bullish perspective, is that we end up getting a nice pop back to the top of the range right into the structure, and then maybe, you never know, we get that breakout nice and early and we continue a very, very bullish summer, which would be absolutely epic. So this is where we're at, guys. There's no real fear at this current moment. The fear is actually, the real fear comes into play once we break here. That is the big problem, because once below that, guys, it starts to get into a very, very critical area where we start backtesting price action that is much, much lower, and we don't have that much volume as we do have right in this level. The next level of volume is all the way down here, and I don't want to go there yet. We're going to take it day by day. Obviously, I appreciate this level as well. We'll reevaluate bit by bit, day by day, as we do come down, if we do come down. But at the current moment, look at this volume gap. We're holding the top of the volume gap as support, and we're still right into the zone with all this accumulation, still looking very strong. So I am not getting into a bearish stance at the current moment. We do see that the momentum is in a very in a state of pushing down. We have the volatility also pushing down. However, there is no lower low on the momentum. We're still in a higher low scenario, which means that we could get a bounce and continue to the upside and get overbought, and we have to let the volatility get oversold, which we're almost there, guys. So endure the last few red moments here, because once the volatility gets oversold, we're going to get a bullish response, and then we got to see what kind of bullish response we got. Do the bulls still have it in them to get overbought and make a higher high here, which would be absolutely epic for the price, obviously, for the Bitcoin price going up and starting to get to the top of the range. We have a bit of an EMA cross to the downside, not a good look as far as trend. EMA is facing down right histogram bars, and the expansion is still purple, but it does look like it might want to kind of hesitate and slow down here, but there's no indication of that just yet. We could stay purple, it could stay looking strong. We may be in just a bit of a retracement after getting into the bullish control zone. We see a nice impulse, a nice retracement, and maybe we go for another impulse to the upside. So really, guys, yes, I understand today's a red day. I get it that a lot of projects are dipping down, but we need to have conviction also in the long term, because then you're going to make some critical decisions that you may regret. I like the structure. I am still DCAing and accumulating and preparing my portfolio for another response from the bulls, an up and coming one from the bulls. All right, guys, let's begin. Let's take a look at ALEPHIUM. The chart that I want to talk about today is obviously ALEPHIUM looking pretty good. But before we do that, I just want to give you a quick reminder of what ALEPHIUM is up to tomorrow. ALEPHIUM is looking for a major upgrade, guys, and the upgrade has a lot to do with a couple of points. Programmable gasless transactions, bullish, bullish, bullish. Lots of detail here. 90% reduction of storage rent. Beautiful stuff here. So deploying a contract is going to be cheaper. Other notable upgrades, obviously, upgrades towards its inheritance in the programming, increasing limits, so gas limits and contract bytecode size and so on. What else is important is the devs will be given more tools, more powerful tools to build, which is super bullish. Reduction of the block time from 64 seconds to 16 seconds. Guys, if you want more detail on the upgrade, I'm going to post this infographic on X and on the Discord, so feel free to go check that out. But ultimately, guys, be prepared, because we could definitely get some volatility in the next little while. Now, if we look at the price, we can see when I did release the upgrade news to you guys last week, we hit that target and bounced fairly nicely, guys. In fact, we made a higher high. So let's look at this and see exactly what this means. You know, a higher high at this level basically is the beginning of a change of character of the structure. Up until this level, we've been making lower lows and lower highs. All of a sudden, we make a higher high. Right, we broke above this high, guys. Now what we're waiting for here is a higher low. What would that give us is a higher low. Then the bulls are going to start saying, well, we're making a new trend here. Instead of making lower lows and lower highs, all of a sudden we're making a higher high and a higher low, and the likelihood is that the trend is going to be our friend, and that we're going to make another higher high and higher low, and then the trend is your friend and we're going up. And then this would be classified as a pivot, a nice pivot point at critical levels of support. So really what I'm trying to say here, guys, as long as we don't make a lower low, this area right here is a safe place to be DCing and deploying capital. So what I would be doing is putting a stop loss right about $1.40 and accumulating a bag in preparation for a continuation up. Now, I know that Bitcoin is looking pretty weak, but even as Bitcoin, Ethereum are pushing down, ALEPHIUM is still looking good. You can see that there's nothing. I know it's making a lower low in the short term. You can see this red candle that's engulfing. I get it, but we are still okay, because we're in a state of confirming this low as the absolute low and making that higher low, and we're still there, guys. So any type of retracement. Now let's use fib levels to kind of give us an idea of what type of retracement we can expect. Remember, I like golden pockets. Golden pockets are great retracement levels. 786, 886 are great as well. So anywhere below the golden pocket or even at the golden pocket is fair game to start deploying capital. A bit over here, a bit over here, and a bit over here, and stop loss down here means that you're going to DCA all into this range for a potential continuation to the upside once we get the recovery. Once we see Bitcoin recover from this stance, from this, bit of a sell-off, we can definitely see the altcoin market perhaps even get into its altcoin season. So from an entry here and putting a stop loss here, what we're really preparing for is for a breakout where we're going to get back to previous price action all the way up here. So I'm talking spot here, guys. I'm not talking about leverage positions. I'm talking about spot, because if you're doing leverage, what you want to do is improve your entry as much as possible so that it's much closer to risk to reward ratios that are healthy, which is like 8-to-1. As you can see, we want to get much lower, maybe down to the 886. If we do get there, that's a great opportunity, and then you can start taking profits along the way, maybe a bit right here, because this is also a good place. Risk to reward is still 4-to-1, maybe a little bit over here, trail up a stop loss, take another 10%. That's the way you do it when you're using leverage. You got to get a lot more defensive once you're in profit. But when you're dealing with spot, you can take your time. There's no liquidation, and obviously you can take your time because of that. So ultimately, I'm waiting for this back test. It is looking good. Let's look at the oscillators. Let's see what's happening here. Volatility is definitely looking still strong. It's still in the overbought state. The expansion to the downside is done. It's very, very tapered in, as you can see. Do we see another continuation down? Do we see the red expansion form again, or do we see a green expansion? As of now, I would be very, very hesitant to think that the expansion to the downside is completely over because of what Bitcoin's doing. Now, as we come down, golden pocket is good. Like I said, 786, 886, all into this level, we would still potentially not even get another expansion down. We could definitely go sideways here on the momentum. You see the purple line going sideways. And then eventually, as the retracement finishes and it's done and it finds its bottom, we'll go for that next leg up where we see the purple line finally get overbought. That is what we want. We want to see the momentum line, this line right here, the purple line, get overbought. Once it gets overbought, we can start getting into a stance of which, you know what, we know the price did very well. We got maybe an ABC to the upside, a 3-wave structure. Ideally, we get a 5-wave structure out of this. I would love to see that. But ultimately, getting overbought gives me that indication that we should start getting defensive on our gains, right? Taking a bit of profit, trailing stop losses. Now, if you look at the trend is looking good. We got the bullish divergence, did not get invalidated. Okay, so we're still valid with this bullish divergence to the upside. EMAs are still open with green histogram bars, and the purple expansion is still there. So there's nothing bearish at the current moment here with ALEPHIUM, although the retracement to come down and backtest this previous low is still in effect. We still have to understand that the big picture, ALEPHIUM, is still looking good as long as we stay up above $1.40. $1.45 is the magic number, guys. Below that, we starting to get into levels of which we can fall much lower. We don't know where we're going to get support. We can get down here to the extension levels, the 1.618 and all of that kind of stuff. But as of now, what we're trying to do is build this pivot point, and those pivot points take time, and we need that confirmation low. Guys, if I've offered you any value in this video, do the channel a massive favor. Slap the like button. It does really help out with the algorithm. If you want to follow me on the socials, the links are in the description below. Feel free to join the Discord, guys. The Discord is where it's at. Lots of good alpha, trade setups, fundamentals, and learning material. The best part is it's absolutely free. Take care, guys. See you tonight, 7:30 Eastern, and don't forget, buy the dip.